Hello everyone, my name is Faisal and this is my presentation on Tabaimo. Tabaimo is a Japanese artist born in 1975 that uses animated illustrations to spread her message. She went to the Kyoto University of Art and Design to study for her craft and used her piece Japanese Kitchen as her graduation project. Her artist name is a mixture of her last name, Tabata, and the Japanese word for little sister, Imoto. Unlike most other artists I've seen, Tabaimo uses this unique art style to tell stories of Japanese culture in a disturbing or sometimes gruesome way, or even whatever she is feeling at the time. The first piece I'll be looking at is titled Guinyarama. It was made after she felt the sensation of something living inside her hands. The title is a word she made up by mashing two words together, guignol, which is puppet in French, and panorama in English. She suffers from atopic dermatitis and communicated that through this piece. Though it's hard to tell at first, upon closer inspection, you can notice that each individual hand is moving like an inhumane creature, like an insect. There's a feeling of closure in this piece, like it's containing the hands within a single box and is having them fight one another to get out. An all-out brawl going from left to right within this condensed animation. She also used a triadic color scheme throughout that was constantly changing. Tabaimo describes it as what she feels from her atopic dermatitis. Another piece of hers that I'd like to take a look at is titled Japanese Kitchen and was her first animation made as a graduation project. Tabaimo used all of her techniques and knowledge to put this one together. It starts off very casually with a woman working in the kitchen, then cuts to a boy jumping from a balcony, and only goes downhill from there. Tabaimo says that her inspiration for creating this piece is a housewife listening to the news or a talk show, which at first doesn't make any sense. Lots is happening within this piece, and it's really hard to understand sometimes. Here's the news anchor guy. The lady cuts off the news anchor man's head. Over a short period of time, the same man whose head is now off shoots the woman in her kitchen. Tabaimo uses very stereotypical designs for all the characters in this piece so she can prioritize the content over the characters. She creates a simple atmosphere and simple colors and uses those to her advantage to create a very complex scene that's hard to follow at times. Lastly, Tabaimo's piece on public restrooms was insanely odd. She says that it reflects the idea of the internet in a way that separates everyone's interests and throws them into their own stall. Using that concept, she manages to come up with various different people doing odd activities with their toilet seats. She also uses cameras, which to me represents the idea that there is no such thing as absolute privacy. We are always being watched one way or another. Tabaimo keeps in mind the idea of the internet and the lack of privacy. There is a constant repetition of moths throughout the piece. Water in this piece is perceived as a gateway to another world, according to Tabaimo. It becomes evident once a lady pulls a baby out of her nose and hands it to a turtle that proceeds to go through the toilet. And also when this lady jumps through the toilet. To me, this piece has a similar vibe as the Japanese kitchen, as they are multiple different stories going on at once while also tying them all together at the end to have like a strange ending, if that makes any sense. Tabaimo starts off all of her pieces as paper sketches or paper pieces. She draws everything out before she puts them all into the computer and creates frame by frame artworks. I chose to do my project on Tabaimo due to my interest in animation. Not only that, but her unique sense of storytelling really caught my attention the first time I watched any of these pieces. She also created some very odd pieces that really caught my attention as well. Maybe it's the use of the colors, maybe it's the dynamic movements or the frames. But everything about it just makes me think more than I do with other pieces of art. The cultural difference was also something interesting I wanted to look into.